think I found it. Oh yeah, I found it.
White hair, yellow eyes, slashed face. Just like he said.
Excuse me?
Geralt of Rivia, known as the White Wolf, the Butcher of Blaviken.
Geralt of Rivia's enough. What is it?
A man came to me a few years past, paid me to keep a book for you, said you'd come for it one day.
Who was he?
He didn't introduce himself, but the book has a red cover, that I remember. I'm sure I've not sold it.
All right, see if I can find it.
And perhaps glance at the others while you're at it.
Well, I have things to sell to you.
Be glad to look over what you got.
Yay! Huh, so what all does he have? A few remarks on basilisks and cockatrices. Fauna of the Northern Realms. Wondrous world of insectoids. The wondrous world, alright. Golem. Beasts of the Tukaj foothills. The little peasant who confounded his lord. Huh. Wow, books should not be this expensive. Necronomicon. Weirdly enough, that sounds familiar. Alright, anyway. I feel like I should have stored that. Huh. Alright, take all of my things. Doop. Doop. Everything that I've already got in my glossary. Sorry, I'm just making sure I'm okay with selling each one before I actually sell it. Making sure I actually get a look at what it is. Like that I want to put back in storage. Don't know why I have it. And I guess I can get rid of this one since it is in the glossary. Though I kind of like the idea of keeping it on me. And what's this? Alright. And he'll just randomly take all this junk that I forgot to dismantle, now that I think about it. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Right, what was that other service he had?
Interested in books? You don't look the scholar, but well, we've ones with drawings as well.
I love picture books.
Let's see these books of yours.
Did he have... Okay, that's weird.
Farewell.
Oh, what the... Where? Okay. Don't mind all your books here. Find the book with the red cover. That one has a red cover. Merry Adventures of Muriel the Lovely Harlot Illustrated Edition. Found it.
The Merry Adventures of Muriel the Lovely Harlot, adorned with humorous engravings.
So was that not it? Or am I just supposed to read it now? On one occasion, Muriel went on a journey to see her auntie in Maribor, accompanied by her nursemaid. Their path took them through a forest, and in this forest lived a raucous troop of bandits. This infamous group was led by Flynn Selms, and all the king's men, along with all the king's horses, had been unable to put him back together again. I'm sorry, to bring them to justice. Alas, such was Muriel's great misfortune that these bandits chose to attack her carriage. Muriel's nursemaid was old, blind, and deaf, which makes you wonder how she did well as a nursemaid in the first place. She did not wake, on account of her being blind and deaf, and old, when a tree fell in front of their carriage with a loud thud, nor when the bandits fought a fierce battle against their guardsmen. When Flynn ripped open the carriage door with his muscular arms, his lovely, macho, sculpted, magnificent muscular arms, and stepped inside, Muriel had to deal with the danger herself. "Make our guest comfortable, young lady," the old nursemaid muttered in her sleep. Muriel obediently carried out her instructions. So what, she boinked him right then and there? Okay. So was that not it? I see a lot of red covers and... Okay, this is just a safety hazard. Alright, so I guess there are multiple books with red covers. The treatment of furuncles. Oh god! Oh god! Oh, that was terrifying.
The treatment of furuncles through cauterization. A study.
Everyone's seen a boil, usually more than they'd care to. These deformities don't just mar your beauty, they can be signs of disease, or even the disease's cause and epicenter. If your lungs wheeze and your heart flutters, or you're just sick of pustules, you can carve them off and be free of this ill for good. I would not recommend that. When you go to carve off a boil, use a sharp knife, which you've had a dog lick thoroughly beforehand. For a dog's tongue works wonders in healing wounds. I see where you're coming from, dude, but I think you got the wrong idea. You got to be brave as you go about it, slicing as confidently and steadily as if carving off a hunk of cheese. Then quickly cauterize the resultant wound using a red-hot poker. Don't pay any mind to screams or tears. Pus, bile, and any other humors need to be gathered in a basin, then dumped in a pit and the pit covered, else the illness might return. Okay. I mean, science. Who knew? I really don't even need to use my senses because there's these nifty little sparkles. My Manifesto, The Life of Jacques de Aldersberg. That sounds very familiar. That sounds very familiar. Who is he? Oh gosh, who is he?
My manifesto. Must be it. There's a letter inside.
Jacques de Aldersberg. Wait, is he from the first game? Yes, he's the guy in the first game. Oh my gosh. Okay, very, very quick thing in the first game. You basically, from what I remember of it, it's a while ago that I watched somebody play it, and even then it was mostly just the cutscenes, obviously. But you find a kid, his name is Alvin, I think, and this kid is a source, like Siri, and so you basically, a lot of the game is trying to keep this kid safe and keep him out of harm's way. And I don't remember who's looking for him and why, but like somebody's trying to get him and you're trying to keep him safe. Eventually, there's like a fight between a bunch of guards and a group of Scoia'tael in a city, or maybe like a bunch of Scoia'tael ambushed a city, something like that. There's some sort of fight in a village that involves the Scoia'tael. And Alvin freaks out and inadvertently activates his power and warps through time and space, never to be seen again, essentially. And then there's this guy who is the Grand Master of the Order of the White Rose. Oh, it says it right there, the Order of the White Rose. Wow, I fooled myself even. I thought that I'd come up with that myself, even as I was looking at it. But no, the Order of the White Rose. He's the Grand Master of this order. And his name is Jacques de Eldersburg. And I don't remember exactly what his motivation is, what his ultimate goal is, but he's kind of like, he's like a madman having visions, sort of. He has visions of the coming white frost, the end of the world at the hands of the Wild Hunt, and whatever else about Ilithine's prophecy. And, well, I guess basically that's it. He says that he's been through time and space and has seen the coming of the end of the world, and he's the bad guy, basically, and you have to kill him. So, that's that. And there's speculation that Jacques de Eldersburg is Alvin, since Alvin traveled through time and space. There's speculation that he grew up to become Jacques de Eldersburg, saw all these things, and then came back to this time to try to write it. And there are several reasons that people make that speculation, things in the game that make it seem like that's the case, like hints that they left, even though they never come out and officially say it. It seems pretty obvious that that's supposed to be the case, but I'll get into that in the little summary video I'm going to make of the stories and games whenever I get around to finally doing that. There are a lot of stories. I've pretty much just been spending my work time looking over them and trying to summarize them. But anyway, if you haven't already read this while I was blabbing, the reasons for choosing Jacques de Eldersburg as Grand Master remain a mystery. The Order of the White Rose had gone through a crisis in those times and was on the verge of collapse, so one might guess that the Brethren wished to have someone decisive as their leaders, someone with a clear vision. De Eldersburg was precisely such a man. One of his decisions was to change the Brotherhood's name to the Order of the Flaming Rose. Oh, that's what it was. I thought White Rose didn't sound quite right. The Order of the Flaming Rose. I wonder if that has anything to do with the Church of the Eternal Flame. Because I don't think I've heard of the Church of the Eternal Flame before this game, but I could just be not remembering. The most puzzling aspect, however, is that the Order and the King himself decided to trust a man who, for all intents and purposes, had appeared out of nowhere. Yep. They say he was a wanderer, an itinerant priest who moved crowds with his speeches and declaiming non-humans. Oh right, that was another thing. He was super against non-humans, supposedly because of the trauma of being caught up in a Scoia'tael ambush. They say he worked miracles and showed his flock visions of a world destroyed by the White Frost. He was undoubtedly a man of great charisma, one instilled with unshakable principles, which he in turn tried to instill in others. Was he truly a source? Was he indeed gifted with raw magic talent? That we will never know for certain. Alright. Letter from A. Witcher. In the ocean of possibilities, some events are more likely and some less. It is not easy to fish out the first, not even when one's intellect stretches through all time and space. Wait, is A Alvin? Oh shit, hold on. I left this letter for you in the hope that, despite all odds, you will come across it one day. For I must warn you, mankind is threatened. The prophesied destruction by the White Frost is not just the babbling of some mad she-elf. Mad she-elf in question being Ilithine. Perhaps I will have the opportunity to convince you of this in person. If not, I must rely on this letter, which you will read many years from now, at a time when you know more than you did when we first met. Know that nothing will save the world except preparing its entire population for this catastrophe. The old tales say a child of the elder blood can stave off the danger, but I tried and failed. Ever since I have been haunted by a hideous vision, a crowned wraith, the spectre of my failure. I was the chosen one, and the chosen one failed. You and your brotherhood are our only hope. When the time of the wolf, men shall perish, and only the Ubermen will survive. Your duty is to give the world Ubermen. Whatever you think of me, do not fail as I have failed. Holy crap, dude. This is insane. Oh man. Oh man. I wish I'd already done my little summary video, because this is crazy, and it'll be really unfortunate if anybody's watching this who has no idea what's going on. But holy crap. I mean, this is a shout out back to the first game. And, I mean, wow. Already read it. That's all there is to it. Oh, more red books. Moribundia, the vampire's last likeness. Thereupon Isabella took Edward's glistening visage in her hand and embraced his icy lips, which were twisted into a cynical grin. "Forgive me, my love," she whispered, stifling the sobs heaving her bosom, "but my heart doth long with fiercer passion for yon werewolf, whom thou hatest with all thy vampiric thou-ness." "'Tis for the best," spoke Edward, shifting his pale face towards the equally pale moon. "With me thy life was ever endangered, with yon werewolf thou shalt know peace and happiness." Edward turned around and took a step towards the exit, but Isabella grabbed his wrist and bade he stop. The touch of her hand was so tender, his heart newly began to beat anew, after centuries of deathly stillness. "There is more," she spoke, averting his penetrating gaze. "I am with child." Okay. Choosing not to acknowledge the fact that this is a Twilight reference. Understanding the irony that in doing so I am in fact acknowledging it. Tyromancy, the noble art of cheese divination, yes! Yes, please. What splendid diversity reigns in the kingdom of cheese! Okay, I have to read this in like my Melvar the Mad voice. What splendid diversity reigns in the kingdom of cheese! The ripened curd can be white or blue, hard or soft, fresh or aged, from the milk of cows, sheep, or goats, brined, pickled, or untouched. The list could go on till the end of time. And each of them, every last slice, every morsel and crumb, not only brings with it an unmatched rush of sensory experience, but in the right hands can be made to reveal the universe's most closely guarded secrets. For cheese, like the innards of sacrificed animals, the flight of a swallow or vivid dreams can be used for divination. The depth and size of a cheese's holes reveal when rains will fall in the coming year, while the color of mold veins tell who shall love whom, and the scent of a hard grana padano predicts which army will vanquish its foes and which will perish. The best divination, however, is done using the ancient method of fondue. One must simply melt two different kinds of cheese, preferably elemental and Gruyere, in white wine, or in a pinch in a dry apple cider. Then one must use a long stick to immerse a morsel of bread in the resultant thick soupy mixture, all the while keeping in mind the question, what shall my child be like when he or she, as the case may be, grows? Then bring the cheese-covered morsel of bread up to a candle so that it casts a shadow on the wall. The shape will provide a sure and easily understood answer to your query. Reading about cheese magic. It was a long passage. Cheese! Cheese! So, Tyromancy is actually a thing. Cheese magic. That's amazing.